All right, we are live. Welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay. Today's my daughter's birthday, so we dropped off some donuts at the school and stuff. The guy behind us was pissed. He wanted glazed donuts, and there was none left because we got 3 dozen of them. So let's jump right into it. We can see the overnight session has had a little bit of a push down off of the CPI number or the PPI number, excuse me. It looks like it came in. Where's the number? Lower than expected, but not by much. I think people were looking for that. Actually, the PPI came in higher than expected. So it's like price per earnings year over year, 8.5, 8.4 was expected, 0.02 was month over month, and it was actually 0.04. So that's probably why the market came in lower. It's kind of a good news is bad news situation where they were looking for bad news to get the Fed to, ease up a bit, but that is not what they got. So, um, and here we are right here back towards the settle right at that 3600 level, opening up, here in about 7 minutes, and probably going to be opening up right near that 3600 level. But so far, really nothing has changed, even though the market has moved lower off of that number. We didn't really get anything too crazy as far as the market goes. It really just kind of moved back down to its low and then looks to have been met up with by some responsive buying or some or lack of selling here. You can see overnight high, overnight low, still with inside the previous day's range. It does look like we're going to be opening up inside value. So that'll be something that we're watching here early on. I think the plan really is just to watch where value builds today again. Once again, around this 3600 going to be kind of the pivot level. We've got this settle in the last. I'd like to see the market climb back above the half back, really start to build some value inside yesterday's range. But since we're opening up near the value area low, we'll look for that auction, especially with overnight inventory being 100% net long. We'll look for a counter auction, see if it gets outside yesterday's value. Failure to get accepted outside of yesterday's value, we can start targeting yesterday's point of control. This 3636 number has been a very key level lately. You see it's the Globex high from today, and it's also pretty much the Globex high from yesterday, and the point of control from the previous day, and the point of control from the 10th as well. So it might be a key level and definitely be something that we want to watch as the day unfolds. Jumping right over to it, we're trying to power through here. Um, Taking a quick peek here, we got Apple trading back lower, little spill, but still inside the previous day's range. AMD still inside the previous day's range. Amazon, opened up on a little CME gap, but closed that CME gap. Google looking a little bit weaker than the others. Meta, not as weak as it really seems, but Meta does seem fairly weak. Microsoft is actually almost down to its lows, looking pretty weak as well. Netflix, big down day yesterday and is looking like it's going to be trading below its low from yesterday. Nvidia inside, not really doing anything special. We have Tesla trading back down towards its lows, looking pretty weak. The TNX, right? This is one thing that I talked about last week, and we talked about paying attention to see if it gets above that 40 level. Well, it's getting really close, and that's really not the best sign for the market here. Um, and so we'll definitely be wanting to pay attention to that. And then volatility, the VIX is actually expanding again this morning, heading back up over that 34 level. So definitely something we want to pay attention to. Let's go ahead and get the bell started, and we will get this trading underway. All right. Peter, good morning. Double R, good morning. Tommy, good morning. Zoe, good morning. Kate, good morning. Trin, good morning. Pop, good morning. Dad, good morning. So when we open up inside the previous day's range, especially when we open up inside previous day's value, we can expect the market to be a bit choppy. So we'll go ahead and just monitor for that. And so you might want to let the market settle a bit, or let it kind of do its thing right as the open comes on. We have about 2 minutes left. We'll see the breadth. I mean, we're opening up right near yesterday's settle, so the breadth should be fairly balanced. So any change in breadth early on should give us a little bit of indication on which way the market's trying to go. Thomas, good morning. Crypto Mojo, good morning. Jay Clark, good morning. This is brought to you by Peach Mango Green Tea Celsius, uncarbonated. I'm just kidding. They should sponsor me though. I drink enough of them. So now's kind of that time where you want to be, kind of locking in your trade plan, or thinking of your decisions, right? And like I said, what I'm thinking is probably get a down auction to start the session, as overnight inventory is pretty much 100% net long. Failure to break that Globex low would be a nice indication to take a long above 3600. But if we do break that Globex low, we'll see if we get accepted outside of yesterday's value area low. If we don't get accepted and we re-enter value, we'll look for rotations if there is time. If we get a little bit of rotations, if there is no rotations, I might just have to go with. And we'll be looking really to trade back to this point of control, this 36.36, which seemed to be a key level from yesterday. We do want to note that there is some weak value here, 36.12. So that might be a spot that we see tested. You can see prices are kind of unaccepted from that spot as well. And in the overnight session, this 36.12 to 36.10 area. And that's going to be kind of the key really to kind of flip us to the upside. If we can get acceptance above this, we can really start to think about trading towards that overnight, or not the overnight high, the overnight high, but also value area high. There's the bell. So let's see, there's a little down auction. How low can it go? Let's watch the breadth. Breadth should update here in about a couple seconds. There it goes. So the NYSE breadth is down here a little bit of mechanical buying right there off the settle. Remember, we got the Fed minutes this afternoon. Call put count 71.29. So may not see a ton. We didn't really see a ton off of the PPI. And that was, kind of a key indication that, they just didn't get anything really unexpected. Really just got a little bit of a sell-off. That's it. All right, so there's the first push down. That's kind of what we expected. Now let's see if they can get accepted below yesterday's value. They find acceptance below yesterday's value, then we'll look to see that Globex low. But if they fail to find acceptance below that value from yesterday and we get up here around this 36, it'll be a nice opportunity to head it with it. First target's going to be that overnight point of control. Value comes down, get continuation. Breadth is flipped red. NASDAQ breadth flipped red here. Sellers need to hold this below 93. There they go. So we're getting some selling moving down quick here. See the breadth picking up here. Pretty much every sector is red. except for energy, which is a risk-off sector. So let's see if they can get acceptance here, or they're just going to head straight down. Like I said, they need to hold below 94. If this thing gets above 94, look for shorts to start covering here. 94 is that weak spot here, that where these sellers tried to step down and really force the market. Actually, it's like 93, but 94 is where we're going to draw it. Jason, good morning. See, the tick didn't open up too low, but we're still getting a little move down here. The 1 minute chart is, moving pretty significantly down, one time framing. Below it's slow. You can see the VWAP is way up here, 3600, 3612. Ooh, buyers might be getting, buyers are trying down here. Let's see if they can get it. Oh, sellers hold below that 94. Took that short off the open. Nice. Really wish this pulling and stacking would just clear on them. Sellers getting heavy again here at the 88. So look at the volume, consistently coming down here. So we're getting that correction to overnight inventory. The breadth picked up, right? That was kind of our key sign. We started out pretty neutral, got a breadth picking up, and pretty much every sector is red now, even energy. And energy went from green to red pretty quick there. A little flippy floppy. Sellers need to get this thing back below 88. They're heavy on the 88 here. So we don't break the previous day's low. Watch the 94. Above this 94, you probably see shorts cover. This thing heads back to the settle. So just be careful if you're short still. Tick is trying to go green here. Breath is cooling a little bit. Took 35 points. Good stuff. Yeah, and just wait. Wait to see if these sellers move down and fill this back in, right? You took some profit down here. Gets back up to this 94 and these sellers hold, then you have that opportunity to get short again. But if they give up this 94, you'll probably head back up to the settle. Morning, Roach. Yeah, so there goes that 94. Kind of where I'm expecting these shorts to start covering up. So there's the settle. Easy trade there. So look below value and fail. Of a bitch. Oh, that's so fucking frustrating. Damn. I'm out. I had one lot left on that trade, and it snagged me right at the 3604 half. I tried to slide it up before, but what can you do? So we're getting some volume here right below the open. Let's see if they hold the settle. They just those shorts were just weak. They covered, and you could just tell by the tempo, right? See how fast it came back up. It took about 5 minutes to get down there and about 1 minute to get back up, and now we're back up above the open. You son of a beach. Look for a test of the VWAP here. 3610, 59, 23 call puts. So a big flipperooski there, right? Which is kind of exactly what we were expecting. A look below and then a pop back above. I mismanaged that trade. Poorly. Yeah. So watch for some, there probably some selling sitting up here on the 10. Just be careful about that 10. Remember this 10-12 level that we talked about pre-market? It just looks like weak structure. And so inside here, I kind of expect maybe some selling. And that, it just happens to be right where that VWAP's at. So it just kind of makes sense. Um, yeah, it is sometimes hard to flip your mindset, Jason. You're right. Yeah, but you've got to pay attention to value. That's why we trade value, right? So we had to look below yesterday's value and we weren't able to take out the low, and now we came back inside value. So that should help you out right there, right? And then look at the breadth. The breadth is almost fully back to green. You're seeing, I mean, the tempo on the upside is a lot faster than it was on that downside move. The downside move was a little bit slower. Um, this is, I mean, this was actually my trade plan. I really wasn't looking for the short side. But you're on the Nasdaq too, so the Nasdaq's a lot more whippy than the ES is, right? A lot faster trading here. So interesting right there. The VWAP just moved up a little bit. At least on my Sierra charts, it did moved up to 12, almost 13. So we're getting some volume up here at the high. So we're looking for some rotations inside yesterday's value, right? And we're kind of seeing that, getting a little bit of rotations here. And then the target here, as it backfills this kind of weak structure, I think, is that 36, right? 36 has been that real key level so far. I don't think that's why most trade the ES. No, I think the ES is a lot more liquid, and that's probably why most trade it. And it's a lot less volatile. Um, but I mean, the easiest thing to trade, or the safest thing to trade, I should say, is probably the Dow, right? The Dow is very very trendy. It just kind of goes one way and then goes the other way, then goes the other way. Like it really has nice trends. Whereas the Nasdaq, might go down 2%, but while it's going down that 2%, might have a counter rally of like a percent, and like sitting through even let's say you top tick the Nasdaq, right? Let's say you top tick the Nasdaq, so you're short, like, let's just say up here, it comes down and then it's like psh, and then it comes down, and it's like, even if your entrance is here, it's hard to sit through these on the Nasdaq, whereas the ES, the rotations are not as violent, or uh not as big. A little bit of volume up here at the top, just right there in that 12-10 area, just kind of filling in that weak structure, right? We had weak structure there in Globex, weak structure there in the overnight, or the yesterday session. um let's see if we get a little bit of backing and filling here. That tick kind of failed to climb above zero. That's a little bit disheartening for me. I'd like to see I'd like to see that tick get above zero and start to hold, and I'd like to see the nicey breath start to pay attention to what the market's doing, and go up there. But so far it looks like we just bounced right off that VWAP and heading down here a little bit. Like buyers stepped up on the '06 here, so they should be, as long as they hold it above this 6. Let's watch this 6 level here. 7. All right, so they don't hold it. There's their stops popping out right there. Fail. Cash VWAP's 3,600. Right back to the open here. Breath is picking up. Nice. Or nicey, excuse me. Buyers step up right there. They need to hold this 7 level. This is kind of where they stepped up just now, 7. There they go. Nice. No trade for the bot today? It doesn't look like my algo will take a trade today either. Not unless we get some. That's not unless we get some big downside or some big upside. It doesn't really like balance very much. So 24-hour view or the weekly view up's 36.19. That could be the next target up here. Right above the half back. Nice breath's about to go positive. A lot of our sectors are flipping green here. Energy's red, utilities, materials, and real estate are red, but those are all the kind of risk off sectors and sectors that really nobody gives a shit about. You know, that's your you know, throw some money in there and get a return of, you know, the same return that you get when you put money in a savings account, which is basically none. Just doesn't, you don't lose money in there. Well, it's not so you don't, but um, it's not as severe as it can be in the tech sector or the healthcare sector. Watch the 7 again as the Sing auction's down. Buyers want to keep it above this 7. It's nice. Or at. All right. Now we're above 0, so you know we're starting to see everybody get on board here. That's what we like to see. It'll bounce off that weekly VWAP at the 19 quarter. That energy's flipping green, utilities flipping green. Good shit, Thomas. Nice 14-point trade on the MES. Good stuff, bro. Back here to where all the buyers stepped up. I mean, to me, it seems like the buyers around this 7 level. A lot of volume here. That 10, that's that weak structure level, 10, 12. It makes sense to try to kind of find the value there and fix the structure there. You see the tick has flipped back to red. See the nicey breath has kind of flipped back to red. You know, and that's not the greatest look. You can see we're starting to get a mixed bag. It's just indication of rotation today. Really. And you know, so you know, that's kind of how you're gonna have to to base your trades off of today. You want to be responsive today. Not really going to be looking for too many breakout trades unless the market starts to kick into gear and you start to see some agreements across the board. But for the most part, you know, you're getting a little bracket here. But you want to you know, be responsive today and take some of these responsive trades. Sellers moving down on the 850. They're trying this 850 here, these sellers are. Lucky. You just had some mechanical selling just right there, right on the last trade, right? And so I think you might have some sellers stuck right here they were trying to sell the last and they might have got stuck. Be careful here. Look for that pop above the 14. They're trying, they're still trying. They need to keep it below this last. They're selling this last heavy. It's hard to tell if they're going to get it or not here. I'm flat. A lot of volume coming in right here. So there's a responsive buyer here somewhere. And it's kind of right at that 7 level where we saw them step up before. And it's a little tug of war going on right here. A really tight tug of war too, it looks like. Right here in this, from like basically from like the 7, 6.5, 7 to this 9 area. You can see the breadth is pretty mixed. Shorts cover there a little bit. Let's see if buyers step up above or if the sellers just keep moving down. It's a tight battle here. There you go, sellers win. Their target would be the open. If they can't get below the open, that's going to be a fail look. And then you'll look to trade back up above, probably above that volume. Look up here at this 306. That's like right under that 14 level, which is, I think, where it's trying to go. These sellers are committed to selling this 950 level. It seems really tight range for like the past, 10 minutes or so. Seems like, what do we got? Yeah, it's 951. Is there any speakers on today? Let me look on investing. What do we got going on here? ES and MES are not in sync. What's the MES at?
Yeah, they got like a 3-point split with.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. The MES is about 36.05 right now, or it's at 36.08.
Yeah, you got like a 3 point gap at the moment. I've not really seen it that big really.
Yeah, I think that's a sign not to take a trade for a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. It looks like it's catching up a little bit. But yeah, it's like a point difference. Just close your eyes and buy. It'll be fine. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Too late. I'm joking.
Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, nothing really. Just oh wait, President LaGuardia is on today, the ECB president. So we'll kind of see what they say. For those of you guys that watch Jones and Friends, that tasty trade that I am always recommending, they talked about something that I think it was like the English bank said yesterday, or the UK bank said something about like how everyone needs to get their affairs in order or some shit like that until Friday, or they have until Friday. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. So there's a seller here and a buyer here, like right at this level, and I mean, they're trying at their hardest, but if they give up that 14 level, this thing's gonna fucking rocket to the upside. Um, I think. But like there's a battle here for sure. And it might just be short time frame traders, probably is shorter time frame traders. Um, but if it looks, I mean, it kind of looks like the buyers are winning, because every time we get down, we pop back up, but not really making any significant upside. So really, as long as we're below 14, you're probably okay to be short. But if it gets above 14, it might just rally hard. So just be careful. It looks like it's like, it looks like the fucking shower's on and someone's putting their hand over it trying to stop all the water. Sellers moving down there. So sellers move down to the 6. So they move down from like the 958 to the 6 here. Let's see if they can hold the 6. Trying. But yeah, so the speaker yesterday said something about um everyone needs to get their affairs in order and they have till Friday. So that's not really the greatest.
Vague threats have always worked, right?
Yeah, I think what's happening is a lot of people are just like bullshit, like they're kind of like trying to call the UK's bluff. And um I mean, we'll see what happens on Friday, right? It'll be interesting to see what they say. It'll be I think we'll have a little bit more information once, the minutes come out this afternoon, and we have CPI tomorrow. So that can give us a little bit of information. But we'll kind of see. But it does seem kind of like they're sick of being caught between the rock and the hard place, right? The rock being that they need to control inflation, and the hard place being if they do keep quantitative tightening, that they might, if we're not in a recession already, they might just fucking, drive right down into it on purpose. So that might be what we need, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fucking economist, and really, I, don't put too much faith in economists, um, because
Yeah, I was.
they're like
Oh, go ahead.
weathermen. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I watched a video yesterday, just a few minutes of it, and it was saying that the basically like their central bank is gonna stop buying the bonds. So like right now they're buying like an unlimited amount of bonds to basically prop it up and create like a floor price. and they basically came out and told everybody like, hey, on Friday we're not buying any more bonds. So I guess everybody's like been dumping the bonds. So like instead of them propping it up, and that's been holding it up, now they're saying they're not going to do that anymore. So
I
that's
think
why people are expecting it to dump or something.
I think the reason why they stepped in was because it was gonna crash, right?
It was, yeah. The was it like a
The gilts.
it was like the it was like a
Yeah,
lot of
so they've been
pension
propping
funds
it
were
up.
gonna
Now
they're
they're gonna
gonna
stop.
we're gonna fail. Yeah, and so they propped it up.
For what, for like a week, and then what is it gonna fail again on Friday when they stop propping it up?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's how all businesses run nowadays. You know, like when COVID came on, all of a sudden every business was like, shit, I'm broke. Like, you know, it's like all these big businesses, like they just pass their debt. Sorry, I'm like about to sneeze. They just like pass their debt over and over and over, and it's like they live paycheck to paycheck. Honestly, like, and it's crazy because you have like these, you know, billion-dollar businesses that are, you know, can't last a month. You know, like in us like average people, you know, we get told like, hey, you know, minimum you want to have like 3 months supply in your bank account just in case shit goes down. And these companies are like, yeah, we don't fucking need that because we make so much money, but they're like spending all the money that they make, and then, you know, they do all the stock buybacks with all this extra money instead of just holding some cash, or they just bonus their fucking people, their high up people, instead of stacking some cash. And it's just like, you know, it's just crazy. Excuse me, I had a fucking allergy attack right there. She's about as high as an airplane. Yeah, Thomas, I think by get their affairs in order, I think they basically mean that, like TJ was saying, they're gonna stop buying on Friday. Watch this 14, guys. If it gets above 14, this thing's gonna run. If you know, they need to figure out what they're gonna do, like get their positions in order so their pension funds can continue to, you know, work the way that they're supposed to work. And if they don't by Friday, then they're gonna be fucked because the government's not gonna help them out anymore. You know, but we got money to send bombs to Ukraine all day. Seems like at least America does. I don't know how much the other countries are contributing, but it definitely seems like every other day Biden's like, yeah, 500 million to fucking Ukraine. Here's some bombs. Like, oh, here's another $6 billion. Oh, you know, it's like, fuck, bro. Like, you got people starving in America. No offense, but goddamn. You know, I feel bad for the situation, but oh, here we go, right at that 14 level.
If Putin gets a foothold, though,
Who cares?
we're all fucked.
Why?
Because it just,
We're in America. I mean, no offense
well,
to you Europeans, but you guys are fucked.
but it's not going to get any easier.
No, I mean, but the thing is like I honestly don't think that Putin wants, um, I don't think Putin wants, um, what's it called? I don't think he really wants like global domination. Like I don't think he wants to dominate the world. Buyers are trying to step up here on the 10. They ran a little bit above the 14. I guess I was wrong. I thought they would get it, but they kind of failed there. But they're stepping up here on the 10. So sellers got stuck down there. Yep. I don't think Putin really wants to like
So
rule.
why would he continue to fight this stupid? I mean, if that's not, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's trying to rule the world. That's not what I'm saying. But it's absolutely, well, it seems like it's a territorial thing. It's not
Oh,
based on
yeah.
population. He needs resources. Ukraine has resources. Fuck them. I'm gonna take it. Which is the issue.
That, and like, you know, the United States is not, they're not doing him any favors by um you know, by not backing the fuck off, you know what I mean? Like he's said like multiple times that he you know they're getting too close, right? But we're just like kind of like building a wall of these small countries around his border, and he's just like, you know what, I've had enough of this.
The areas that he annexed have been being bombed by the Ukraine for 8 years now.
I mean, it's a tough situation because we honestly don't know what's actually going on. You know what I mean? Like you can only try to speculate on what we know based off of kind of what the news is saying.
Which is always a lie.
For the most part, it's not a great source of information for sure. Putin against Biden. Yeah, it could definitely be the domino for the global markets, TJ. I think you're right. Yeah, and I wasn't disagreeing with my uncle. Like I don't think it's good. But like at some point, the
What do you
UN,
call it?
it's not
When
just
do you
the
call it? Yeah.
yeah, like like the United States has to fucking and I don't know if it's just the United States because I don't know how it is in the other countries, right? But as a United States citizen, it really does seem like we're always getting in other people's business. You know what I mean? And it's like when are we gonna stop fucking like people here, they're like, oh, we care, we care, we care, but like what about Americans? And this is something I strongly believe, and this is not just a world thing, but this is even relationship advice, right? A lot of people think that they can only be happy if they make other people happy, but if you can't make yourself happy, then you're never truly going to be happy, right? And so if we can't take care of ourselves in America, we don't have any business trying to take care of somebody else, right? Because we don't even know how to take care of ourselves. So why are we trying to take care of somebody else?
But if
You
we
know?
can, we give weapons to Palestine, we give weapons to Yemen,
Yeah,
we give weapons to,
no,
to
no, no,
Iran.
I'm not arguing that we do these things. I'm saying that, you know, at some point there's got to be a line to draw. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of this stuff, we give these weapons to whoever, and we're involved whether they say it or not. Some fucking shadow helicopter just started destroying Russian tanks. Like, oh yeah, Ukraine, it's just some
Just
ghost.
happened to have a shadow
Just the
helicopter
fucking
lying around.
yeah, the Red Baron just flew out of fucking everywhere, like out of the history books and just started just shooting down all these Russian planes. Yeah, that was it. That was an English pilot, right? Um, Everybody knows they've got the best pilots, and it's like you think that was some Ukrainian pilot, you know? Nothing against Ukrainians,
And,
but
and
like
it's a huge money grab.
probably not.
We're selling them the weapons. The U.S. government doesn't build weapons. It's all contractors, and those contractors are giving them away for free.
Yeah, exactly, Roach. That's the real issue is like we really don't know what's true. Like Thomas, yeah, like Peter Zian, I've heard him talk, and he hates Putin and stuff, and like I'm not like advocating for Putin or anything like that, but I'm just saying we don't actually know what he really wants because he's never came out and said like I want all these countries. You know what I mean? It's like he wants the old Soviet back, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just have a hard time believing a lot of these things. I'm gonna get shadow banned now. Yeah, I mean the reasons, and that's what's so funny is like, if you talk about the war in Iraq, like, people are like, oh, the first time we talk about it is like, 2001 when 9/11 happened. Morning, JB. And and uh and like that's the first time that we went into Iraq, but is it though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, read a book here. Ooh, a little bit of liquidation there.
Iraq, the first time was they said the Iraqis were throwing babies out of incubators onto the floor. That's not be true in Kuwait.
He has it in his memoir. I haven't seen that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that he wants to like take over the world, but it just doesn't seem like that's what he's trying to do right now. It seems like he's just like messing around, you know what I mean?
Well, it's giving him reason to like cut off the natural gas supply and all that other stuff. So it's
Yeah,
causing other economic,
he's taking advantage of the
it's giving him
situation.
economic leverage,
Yeah.
regardless of what else is going on. But it gives him the ability of providing of creating economic leverage, which is what he needs. I mean, the reality is Russia is freaking desolate, or not desolate, but poor, desperate. So they need a way to hedge up their economy. And by doing this, he's ultimately giving himself the ability of saying, sorry, we're cutting off supply, so we're raising prices or whatever. I mean, whatever that turns into in order to create volatility, which gives him more leverage, which gives him more liquidity on how he decides to use his resources.
Oh yeah. I mean, look what he did. Look what the ruble did. They basically bankrupt the ruble. The United States did by all the sanctions, all the big money, all the what do they call them? What are those people called that are rich?
Oligarchs.
Oligarchs. Um, he basically just had them all pull their money, and then ruble dropped to like pennies on the dollar, and right, and then all of a sudden it just skies back up. Who do you think made money on that? Probably a lot of those oligarchs. And it's kind of like I don't know. It's interesting. Like these sanctions, like they're like, oh, we're gonna clap you with sanctions, and then he's like, well, fuck you, then I'm just gonna raise the prices to 1 million, and it's like, well, you know, like what do you like? It's like a tit for tat. It's like two fucking little kids just fighting over nothing. It feels like like they don't give a shit about anybody else except for themselves. And that's the thing that really bothers me. So B period's still inside A period here. Unable, pop that 14, but didn't really, only up to the 18, and not really getting the pop that I was kind of expecting. And now we're seeing at the low here, Brett's getting a little bit negative. This tick is really kind of failing to hold above this 0 level. But you're still in kind of, still kind of in like this bracket up here. You can see like we have equal highs and kind of equal lows. Still in a fairly, consistent range, I guess. It's been a very polite war. Yeah, and that's the thing is like I don't even know like everything that we see or everything that I see on the news is like Ukraine's just kicking their ass. Yeah, Jake B, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like, like you've got to learn to take care of your own before you start taking care of others. And unfortunately like there's countries out there that are, you know, suffering. I mean, when I went to Palau, they don't even have water. Like you can't drink the water. Like can you imagine like, it's hard for Americans really even to kind of fathom that haven't been to other countries or haven't even been a lot of Americans haven't even been away from their home state or besides a vacation or anything. They've never lived anywhere else. And you know that it's safe to drink right out of the tap. You stick your head under the sink, and then I mean, one, you've got running water, and two, you've got fucking, you know, you'll be fine. But you know, and then you've got the healthcare and that's what we were there for, was healthcare. But the healthcare is completely different. Their nurses are like the same level as like an EMT here. You know what I mean? And EMTs really can't do shit except for fucking drive a truck and give nitro. That's it. Trying to break below this level here. See if it gets it going. A little bit of buying on that OO there. Well, I mean, he didn't spike it. Like he himself didn't spike it, but he put the kibosh on where he knew. I mean, you know, if you're like, well, nobody can buy oil unless they buy it in ruples. Like, what do you think's going to happen to the ruple? It's going to have to go up because people are going to start buying ruples because they got to use it to buy oil, right? So I mean, he's not dumb.
Ruples are Bitcoin.
Yeah, ruples are Bitcoin.
Hey, can you look at these? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's good quality out of the tap. Yeah. I mean, you know, I never I never really didn't like tap water. Oh, apparently the latest wave swung in the favor of the Russians. I saw that he's like letting people out of jail to fight. That's funny. So you have a little what looks like here. It looks like the market may have gotten a little bit too short here, and you're kind of seeing a little bit of bounce. Look for acceptance above this 1304. That's really where you need to see, and then that's going to be the target here is that top of balance. You're still, I mean, the bracket is very wide still. You know, you're still kind of balancing in this low area down here. So it's a fairly wide bracket. But this kind of has a too short look and kind of bounce. The only way that you would know if buyers step up is to get this continuation. If not, because you're really not breaking any trend here, right? If we were to just give us a little bit of that, right? And so the break of that trend would really give that confirmation up above here, even if it does just break sideways, you know, as long as they're not able to force it down. I think you're safe to target this area right here. I don't know why it didn't save our drawings from yesterday though, which is fucking when delete this. Yeah, I think this is going to be that kind of key area here going forward. And you can see, remember we talked about this yesterday, if it was able to climb above that weekly VWAP, and so far it has little volatility here. It looks like from the what's it called, PPI numbers. It looks like here, but you're so far, you know, still kind of holding above that weekly VWAP, and we look to see get this continuation here above this 1300 1304 level. Then you could start seeing some of these laggard shorts, and you can kind of see here, like, I mean, it kind of looks like supply just ran out down here. Doesn't it just look like nobody else was selling down here? They were making higher highs, and then sellers really tried it, didn't get it, and then you just got that relief rally. So there's no real conviction here yet. I think you'd have to wait until it gets back down here and see a test of these lows, and that's an opportunity to take a responsive long or to get short with it, or wait till it gets up here and look for it to hold and then take that upside.
I concur.
So the company I work for has a division called Concur, and we're in a meeting, and the people from Concur just keep disagreeing, and finally I just say, you know what, for a division that their name actually means agree, you guys are so disagreeable.
Concur. What a name. So back below the settle and back below yesterday's value. Let's see if they get some acceptance here. This tick is not really being agreeable, but look at the breadth. So remember last time we were down here, we saw a breadth kind of pick up here. You know, we got about it was like a 3-to-1 and almost a 2-to-1 on the NASDAQ. We're not really seeing that yet here. Yeah, Kate, it's crazy when you go to another place and provide healthcare. Like, it's just such a, you know, it's so different. Like, it really is. Like, I mean, it's hard to even imagine unless you're like there seeing it. And it's terrible. Like the kid, like you know, I don't really feel bad for adults very often because most time adults are like a product of their own nature. But I feel bad for kids a lot. Oh yeah, yeah. He's got a think tank. He's got. I mean, he's got. I mean, he just gave Snowden citizenship. So he might be having that dude help him out.
Who's giving him citizenship?
Russia did. Putin did.
I bet, dude. He's got so much info.
We see buyers step up there on the 01 again here. Cash view ups at 3606. B period still inside A period. So this is kind of, most likely, especially when this kind of happens, this has the opportunity. Let me check on the volume, but this has the opportunity to really turn into a trend day. And this is going to be kind of one of those days where you don't want to get tricked or trapped or hold on to a position that's a loser. So volume's down about 11%. But when you have B period inside A period, so you have very narrow initial balance, and B period really not even able to explore below or above the previous day, and you kind of see, we've seen this seller, this seller's still sitting like right on that 950 to 8-ish level. They popped that 14, but they weren't able to get going. But I mean, this thing, if it does go, it's gonna go hard. And I think there might be an opportunity to go with here on a break of the A or the A high or the A low. Go snow. Oh, Roach, I forgot to tell you. I guess I jinxed everyone in the NEPA area. I bought a snow shovel yesterday. Somebody at fucking Lowe's was like, "Hey, don't buy that snow shovel. You don't want to jinx us." And I didn't know I forgot that we're surrounded by a bunch of Catholics and, they're all superstitious. Probably gonna snow tomorrow. Who knows? Well, if you gotta shovel your driveway tomorrow, you can go ahead and just blame me.
I was just gonna say, now I know who to blame when you're shoveling out there. Hey, did you get a guy come to your house trying to reassess for taxes, try to measure the house and shit? No, I think they're coming around. They came to me yesterday. I told them the fuck out of here. I wouldn't allow them. I said, you're not coming on. I'm not cooperating. Get out. He's all flustered. He didn't know what to do.
Had a pizza guy trying to deliver a pizza, but was to the wrong house.
Oh yeah, when you were up there, yeah.
We were sitting there watching the Cincinnati-Baltimore game, and someone came knocking on the door.
They actually ring the doorbell, stupid fucker.
Yeah, they're probably gonna come around all Lackawanna County. More taxes they want.
A little liquidation there. The longs liquidated right there below that 36. They stepped up in 3601, caught a little bit of a bounce. Sellers moved in, took control, and now they're moving lower. We really just need to watch. Like I said, I'm just gonna wait. I'm not taking any trades here. I'm gonna wait till we see a test of the A high or the A low. I think that's really our best bet here. Still about 9 minutes until the C period opens up. Clipper, what's up, my man? Yeah, let's take a peek at Bitcoin. Said, when you get a chance, can we look at Bitcoin? Also, I know you don't trade higher time frames for the most part, but any thoughts on levels to watch if we liquidate below the macro range? Oh yeah, so we could take a look. Let's look at the 4 hour. Just so we can scrunch the chart up. And a little bit of selling here. Look for volume to move down here. Breath is picking up here, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. We're getting a little bit of breath. The ticks, so this is interesting. Ticks clicking below 1,000 here. That was the ding. If you heard the ding, it dings when we get a click below 1,000. Which means typically selling is strong, but the market's not in agreement. It's not making a new lower low here while this is happening. So selling's still a bit weak, and that just means that people are just not convinced yet. Doesn't mean that it can't keep going down. It just means that not everybody, it just means basically that some people are still buying the dip. That's what that means in layman's terms. So on Bitcoin, I've been watching this, this really wide trend, and you can kind of see it comes all the way from the all-time high for the most part, which was here. I mean, for the most part, right on the daily chart, it just goes right through the wicks. And we're kind of breaking it by time, not necessarily by a breach of trend, but you can see it's kind of been respected, but now we're getting below. So, I do think there's opportunity for this thing really to liquidate lower. A big level I've had my eye on is down here at this 13,000 level. So there's a gap down here if we looked on a CME chart, right here, right? So this area, like, it was kind of a weak structure. It popped up, and when it came back down, it kind of balanced that. So, probably get some hesitation here around this like 16-ish thousand, 17 to 16. It's hard, because how volatile Bitcoin is. You don't know if it's gonna, how it's gonna go. But really, this kind of 14,000 to 13,000 area is kind of the level that I really am watching. And I think that's, might be an area where I become a buyer, a long-term holder. If we start to see, some cooperation from the rest of the market, right? For me, the risk off of Bitcoin, I'm not really a buyer long-term unless you start to see that the rest of the economy start to kind of balance out and start to be a little bit more of a safer play. If we're still in kind of in the deep water with the rest of the market, it seems like there's just, the risk is off, and it doesn't seem like many people are going to buy Bitcoin, at least aggressively. But if you've got the margin to hold it, I think, buying a coin at 13,000 and then, just kind of seeing what happens. You've got this previous level here down around 12,000, but 13,000 is really kind of the level that I'm looking for. And then kind of our last level here to, before like a liquidation, I'm thinking it is around this 18,000 to 17,700. Below that, it's going to make it pretty much a new swing low since, December 2020. So that would make sense here that if it breaks that level, you'll probably get a flash down from there. So those dip buyers, they were right. Like we talked about, people were buying the dip there. They bounced back up, back to the open. Nice strong buying here. That was kind of the key there, right? So, there was a couple of keys, I guess, but B period was coming down. We ticked below 1,000, showing selling strength, but we weren't making a new low. So that was showing people buying the dip and sellers not as strong as they wanted to be. And the breadth didn't pick up as much as it was a 2 and 2, but when we were down here before in A period, we were 3 and 2. And so the breadth was a little bit stronger, which means selling was a little bit heavier the last time it was down there in A. We're getting a decent little pop Peruski here back up above that 01 level. We got sellers sitting on the 5, which is the cash VWAP. Looks mechanical to me. I got that short-term energy outlook today too. That's going to be a big report. It comes out at noon. All right, I'll be right back. All right. A little Paparuski there, huh? Back up to that cash or the 24-hour VWAP 3610. This is right where those sellers tried to come in last time here. Little struggle fest here. All right, C period opens up, so B period just balancing. C period opens up basically right in the middle of the range, you know, a couple points above half back, and still the market is trying to balance. You can see that value is overlapping to lower so far, but we're getting a lot of rotations inside value here, and we didn't get any range extension down in B period. So, you know, if they try it one more time in C period and they're unable to take that A low, there's an opportunity there for some responsive longs to take us back to you know, at least a value, but probably to the highs. But they could get the lows here, you know, so you don't want to get too attached to the position. Like I said, I think any break of this A low or A high, the market could really start to trend because of we'll probably get a bunch of short covering. It could balance all day with the FOMC minutes coming up at 2 o'clock, and everyone just kind of, you know, holding their trigger fingers back until we see, you know, what the Feds are talking about. I really don't, I don't know, I don't expect too much volatility out of the FOMC. I think that the comments that are made in the FOMC are going to help us kind of decipher what to expect Friday when the UK banks decide to, you know, murder the UK market, if they decide, right? Buyers stepping up here on the 5. Seller just got out. Let's see if buyers can buy up over this VWAP this time. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the 886 retrace. I'm not familiar with that level, to be honest with you. But I mean, it does. You know, if it is a Fibonacci level, especially if it's on like a yearly swing point, you know, it's gonna be noticed. You know what I mean? It's hard to see something that you see working and just kind of be like, ah, it doesn't work. You know, I mean, if we look at the fucking daily chart here on the ES, finally, fuckers. If we look at the daily chart on the ES, you know, or the weekly chart, it's like basically bouncing off of the 200, the 200 moving average here. Where's the weekly chart? You know, we can see here just right on the weekly. I mean, look at this thing, just, you know, here, and this is even with this is with the extended hours off. But if you look at the extended hours on, I mean, it's like, you know, basically hugged that 200 SMA. You know, and it's, you know, it's not like I just don't use the moving averages. I guess like everyone else, you know, oh, we'll buy this and sell that, but you have to pay attention to it because there's a lot of other people using it, right? And I typically find out where the Fibonacci levels are at because James is always texting them to me. And I find out about RSI when Jared texts me. So VIX is actually below 34, so it's still up for the day, but down a little bit. TNX has come down. It's not above that 40 level. I'm really watching that 40 level on the TNX here. Above that 40 level, I think you really start to see some sharp downside. This kind of has a feeling to me, vendor bots. It kind of has a feeling to me. Oh, what am I doing? Good, timeout. Go. That the market got too short early on and got bought up, and you're getting some, you know, that tug of war is still back here, but they're not making any progression. But I'm kind of, you know, thinking here, especially I've got like this little P-shaped look going, that, you know, they may be just kind of trapping buyers here. But we're inside yesterday's value, and there's no real sense of downside here. But, you know, I'm really cautious right now, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Very, very cautious. You got Apple up 0.4, Google's up 0.9, AMD's down about 1.5%. Meta's down 0.72, Microsoft down 0.27, Netflix up 1.4, Nvidia down 1.6, Tesla's down 1.7. So a mixed bag. I mean, really a mixed bag all over the place. If we pull this over here, you know, we can see tech here is basically just sitting in a bracket. See healthcare popped up and is kind of flagging. You can see bracket on XLY slowly making lower lows, but or lower highs, but not lower lows. So you're really kind of just condensing here. Financials are actually moving higher. We've got bank earnings on Friday, so that's an interesting note. You got communications really just kind of standing still. Industrials standing still. Staples are actually buying, right? That's a risk off look. People buying consumer staples is a safer play, right? They don't really get as much volatility. Energy's looking weak. Utilities looking weak. Materials looking weak, and healthcare, or not healthcare, real estate looking weak as well. You can see the VIX here is really just kind of, you know, kind of balancing but staying elevated. Not really any vol depression here. Yeah, so the market, I mean, market's just really just balancing here. That's it. Like I said, I think you're gonna have an opportunity really to just go with the market if a breach of that A high or A low comes. It's hard to really it's hard to I mean basically just kind of guessing um at this point really until it happens. We're just having overlapping value for the most part. We are getting some rotations inside yesterday's value where the market's trying to accept. We did build some nice volume on this previous week structure that we saw the past couple of days or past couple of trading sessions. Even into even into here. I mean, we talked about this 12-10 level. You can kind of see like, there's no fairly weak structure there in both of the overnight sessions, right? Comparatively above and below here. And then even here back on the 10th. Right down to the settle. Below that 3600, this 3600 has been a extremely magnetic level. It seemed the past couple of days. Little gap down on the tick, right? Little liquidation there on the tick. We kind of have a decent little trend line that we can draw now. Got some spots as the market continues to kind of condense here and balance. A lot of our sectors are kind of getting ready to turn red or have turned red, except for staples here. Healthcare is getting a little bit weaker. Financials are coming down here a little bit. Tech is getting hammered here a bit. Nasdaq's still holding the same trend from the original swing low, the A low. I might be able to catch a short here if this this thing breaks here below the settle. We start to see these sellers actually step up because you're starting to see the breadth increase here a little bit. You just got to see it get below that C low. Right where values from today. Look for continuation here. No continuation would kind of give us the insight that it might bounce, but it does look like it wants to keep going. You're seeing selling move down here. Struggling. Not a ton of conviction there. You can do it. Sometimes you gotta motivate the market to do what it's supposed to do. Two ticks is all we get? Come on. Still not breaking out of there. My ATR telling you the ES chart? That's just telling you the range of each 3-minute bar is about 3 points. Not really anything nothing really, to be honest. I didn't even notice that until you said that. I have it there because when I look at the daily chart, I like to see the average range of the daily, but yeah, I didn't even notice it until you said something. Nice. There we go. All right, I closed the short right there. We might keep going, but I'm not going to get too greedy here. The breath is picking up, and we're getting that tick below 1,000 again, and we're not at the low. So I just flattened out right there at the 93.5.
Yeah, there was a lot of responsive buying here last time. We were right here.
Yeah, there was. You got sellers trapped again right there on the 93.5, 93.25. Poor bastards. The 886 seems to be particularly relevant through BTC's macro history. If you fib your chase from bear market low to the high of each cycle, subsequent bear market normally bottoms out around 886. For some reason, the 886 referred to as a full reset. Although who the F knows? Yeah, that's true, Clipperino. You never know. It'd be nice though. That's why it's hard to believe in a psychic. People that think that they're psychic. Yeah, like, okay, well, what's the fucking lottery number? No? You can't psychic that? Okay, alright, fuck off. So we flattened that short right at the perfect position, right when momentum sellers tried to get in there. They got a little bit too short. Some of you guys sound like you might have caught the opposite side of the trade, the responsive trade. Also a nice trade. You know, don't get too greedy up here, right? If the market can't climb back above the open, just, you know, don't try to hold that thing forever. I know Jared already probably closed out for like one point, so.
I'll have you know I'm not even in right now. Son of a bitch, what's it doing?
Got some sellers here trying to sell the 3600 again, mechanical. And you know, Clipper, it's a thing about that too is like it's all based off of time frame, right? So it's like when you've got to think about all the different traders and what time frame that they're trading on, right? So like some people are trading on a year to date chart, some people are trading on a year out chart, some people are trading on a 4 hour chart that's 6 months, like, and so you know you could draw those fibs differently, but I think you know as long as you draw the fibs on a daily chart, um, I think the levels do get respected fairly well because of intraday trading, right? Sometimes they might blow through if a longer time frame trader, of course, steps in, and you know that's something that we see with the profile naturally, right? You know, if we were to take this chart here and we were to switch to the daily, let's just zoom the fuck in here. Right, and you were to take your even if you were to take your Fibonacci tool just on the daily here, I mean you could see the high of today is fairly more or less sold right off of a 768 or 786, you know, whatever it is. You know, so even on these daily levels there's opportunity. The trouble is what happens to people is, you know, this 768 right here, and they're looking to sell this level. They don't have the patience to wait for it to get up there to sell. They see the market start going down, like fuck, and they sell it right here, and then they get stopped out on the way back up to their actual plan, and then it comes down, right? And they wanted to sell here, but they just didn't have the patience, and you know that just goes back to, you know, psychology. So that's a weak look right here, right? So very weak look, not a very strong reference. If the market does come back down here, this will probably break, but just because we're have a weak reference here doesn't necessarily mean that we want to get short and just hope that it breaks, right? Because this thing could rally. Because when we see these weak references, it could mean one of two things. One, it could mean that there's a buyer here, and we do have a buying tail, so this could be a buyer stepping up, or two, it could mean there's no supply, right? So, and if it's no supply, you know, oftentimes you get rotation. If it's a buyer, typically you get a strong reaction and you test that opposite side. But there's really no way to know for sure. You just have to position yourself in the right direction, right? And so, you know, you can see we kind of came up right below the open. We're starting to get a little bit more selling here. Volumes coming in, but we're still inside yesterday's value. The tape looks crazy today. Here's the tape. I mean, you could see just like all these pink trades are below bid trades. So like people forcing their way in or out of the market. We don't have a way to know, but they're selling below bid. So they're aggressively, like extra aggressively trying to sell.
Why would you try to sell lower than bid though?
You really want to be in the market, or you really want to be out of the market. Yeah, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes, Clipper. So they say. Today's vocal, crossing the spread. Oh, vocab. My bad. Yeah, I mean, like, there's just so much. It seems like so much selling that just happened here below the 3600. Now we're above the 3600. Kind of just seems like this thing might want to give us a little paparuski here. I said, give us a paparuski. Well, let's see on this little pushback down. If they can't get this thing back below 35.97, we can buy it. Oh, not financial advice. Trading carries very much risk. Blah 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 blah. You guys know the spiel. Please remember to like and subscribe.
I save.
What's that song? About damn time. You guys know what song I'm talking about? In a minute, we're gonna need it up. Pump it up.
Quoting Wizzo over here.
I don't know the song. I hear my kids sing it all the time. Cause they dance all that shit. Feel this BitX here. Traded. Oh, there's some weird shit going on here. On the market. Like, I mean, we're just sitting at this spot right here for feels like forever. I saw a funny ass remake of the Avengers movie. The like at the end when Thanos goes to snap his fingers, but all the stones are out, and it's the dude from um that fucking movie or show. It's a show. With Eisenberg. What's that show called?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yeah, Breaking Bad. And it's the Mexican dude, and he's like just smashing up the fucking Infinity Stones and snorting them, and he's like, "Woo!" And then he beats Thanos' ass. Oh, that shit had me dying. Yeah, Tuco. Yeah, Tuco. That's what I feel like some size traders need to do here. They need to smash up these Infinity Stones and take this thing. I mean, at least in a direction. I mean, honestly, just don't care where it goes. I just want it to go somewhere. So here they go. They're back down to 3,600. Like I said, I think they need to get it back down below 35.97. If they don't get it back below that level, I think we can buy it. Confirmation would be like if it pops above the open. CNBC, people don't know how to digest the morning's PPI info. Yeah, because it was like better than expected, but the it's the producer price index, so it's like they're getting better prices to produce. So it's like the front end is having, you know, better opportunity, and they're trying to slow down, but it looks like it's only slowing down the lower side so far, with the JOLTS job report last week not being amazing.
Come on, D period.
Yeah, seriously. Like that meme with the stick. Come on, do something.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Oh no, not that. As soon as you get in a trade, it's like,
Yeah.
you rip the other way.
People might be waiting for this energy report that comes out in an hour. There's the open. I said, here we go.
I think you were muted, bro.
Disobedient house market.
Brad, I need you to go to Woes.
Yeah.
It'll be hard because I'm in a long, so I'm gonna have to wait a second.
Call James, tell him to go to Home Depot.
When James goes to Home Depot, the market goes up.
So it goes up whenever James goes to Home Depot and you go to Woes, it always crashes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
There you go. Keep going. We want at least an 8.5. Don't fuck with us. The energy report shit is way up. Yeah, it'll be interesting with that because, I mean, you know, like they're already talking about rolling blackouts in the UK, but the blackouts in the rest of Europe, and you know, maybe in the United States as well, especially like California and you know, like Washington, Oregon, a lot of places that rely on energy from other places. One tick shy of that 8.5. Still seeing some buyers step up here. It looks okay. Sort of that high, huh? All right, well, we got the control back, right? Market started listening again. So Let's see what we can get. See if we can get a bar that gets outside of the fucking previous bar. Jesus.
Oh, did it get your 8.5?
Yeah, I got out. Yeah. Yeah, not being greedy there. I just wanted to. I got covered right in front of the view up. I just didn't want to press my luck too much.
Yeah, I've been exercising patience. I actually haven't taken any trades online.
That was funny, Brad, right there. I was up like 175 and then it just like came back down, stopped me out right at my break even. I was like, damn.
Oh, was that yours right there?
No, that wasn't
oh.
me. Somebody else got filled there too, but that was funny because like I got filled there and it it went up, it was up 175 bucks, and then it was like, no, you're getting 25 because I moved my stop loss into profit.
Were you long or short?
I got long.
Yeah, 17 TPOs, Dr. PJ.
Yeah,
for
pay
the
yourself
point
quick
control.
today.
Yeah, you've got to be. I mean, there was a decent trade early on in A period, but other than that, yeah, it's been. I mean, most of my trades look about 3.5 points is the average. The first trade was nice, a nice 15-point trade, but other than that, it's been basically.
Was it a
scalps.
short or responsive long off the short cover?
It was a long. Yeah, I got long on
Yeah.
91.75 and 94.
Nice.
Or
Yeah,
longs.
I almost punched it long right there, but I was like, only had like one thing really telling me, like I was basically just trading the short covering, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a little time. Looking back though, if I knew it was gonna be like this, shoot. Sure.
Nothing wrong with that though. Like nothing wrong with just staying patient. Yeah, it was just that was my trade plan. Like I was taking that trade, pretty much every time. And as soon as it didn't keep going past the previous day's low, I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna try it here. I mean, it was a pretty wide stop because I got filled like 91.75. My stop was right below the A low, so it was a pretty wide stop. Seller's trapped again here on the 550.
Yeah, as soon as that next 1 minute candle broke the high of the previous candle, that's when I was thinking about it. I was like, short covering about to come out.
Yeah. I mean, no volume came in down there either. Like it's like it just disappeared down there.
Yeah. It's kind of early on, and I try not to trade too early in A period unless it's just a really obvious trade. I wanted to short the overnight low for a scalp, and then when I seen that, I thought about, doing, going the other way on the short covering with the scalp, but I just wanted to give it more time. I'm just glad I can actually sit here for hours and have the discipline and strength and patience to not feel like I have to be in a trade.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that in itself is something that very few people have. And I think there is a good trade that'll be setting up. Like I said, I think if we break the A high and get volume, there'll be continuation, and break the A low and get volume, there's going to be continuation, and there will be that good trade, but it's just a matter of when it will come. It might not come till 2:00, which will be shit because I'll be picking up the kids.
Yeah, and I'd rather wait for the good trade than risk getting chopped up, and then your good trade only just pays for you being impatient all day.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing's worse than making, forcing trades and then finally hitting the good trade that was on your plan, and then you break even. You're like, God damn it! If I would just took in my one trade that I actually planned.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Zoe. Have a good night.
Yep. And if you're not there yet, eventually the market will whip you into submission.
Yeah.
It's like eventually you get whooped enough where you're like, okay, fine. I'm gonna be patient.
Yeah, either that or you quit. Typically what happens.
Yep.
So selling right off the VWAP here on this 9 quarter level. Got a decent box forming right here too. And a breakout above would break a nice uptrend from the high. So you could see some more moving. If we
Yep.
break this D high, we should see some shorts cover.
We really hadn't been able to get over this volume.
I was gonna
a
say, do
while
I
now.
smell a short covering rally?
Yeah, it's that 10-12 level, has just been a tricky little beast all day. Speaking of history rhyming, any thoughts on the VIX? Is it maybe looking like it wants to spike up in the next few days? Yeah, I'm definitely watching the VIX, very very closely because they say like they say the VIX. I gotta look at it on a daily chart. They say the VIX, will typically spike, and that's how it kind of signals the bottom of the market. But it just hasn't really got up there yet. You can see back in January it got up to that 38 level. A lot of people are calling for a 40 level. Really, I don't trade volatility a lot. Like the actual VIX, like the volatility index. But a lot of volatility traders are calling for a 40 level. But there's no like technical analysis on the VIX, right? The VIX is just the amount of puts being bought that are 30-day expiration, right? So it seems like a lot of people are buying puts, but it's tough really to get on board with that thesis, right? Because we've just been kind of grinding down. Like if we look at the ES here on the daily, the ES has just been kind of grinding to the downside for the most part this past couple of days. All right, we had a liquidation here, but we're just kind of like slowly making lower lows. We haven't made a higher high yet, but we're not really making any significant progress to the downside. We didn't even break that Globex low yet. So if we do get a break of this, and this is a Globex low, this is a 24-hour chart. If we get a break of that Globex low during the cash session with a VIX spike over 40, we can expect a rally based off of history, because people typically will sell volatility, so they'll sell the VIX above 40 and they'll buy the market on the yearly low. So we could be expecting that short covering rally. I still am kind of in the camp that that this 3400 level, well, I mean, first before we get too carried away, where's the monthly? I'm really, oh, this is not the right one. Yeah, I'll switch to the other chart. Yeah, so we can see this monthly 50 here, 35, 34. Like I'm still kind of in the camp that that's where the market's going. I think that it just makes sense that it goes down there and at least touches it. It would make the lower low in the cash session. It would make sense that that's what the market's trying to do. It kind of lines up with what's going on. You kind of see this previous balance here. I really kind of think that we test this level here, which is why I have it marked this 32.72. That's kind of like my ultimate target to the downside. I'm just not ready to pile on. That'll come on October 28th when Elon doesn't buy Twitter. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had better advice for the VIX, but the VIX is tough. I mean, I have made some money buying like long dated VIX calls. When it gets, when it's gotten below 20, which hasn't happened very often, but it has happened. Um, but other than that, I really don't mess with the VIX too much. I only pay attention really to the VIX about the percentage. So like the rule of 16s, right? Divide the VIX by 16 and you can get like a percentage move. So we're at 30. That VIX is at 33, so 33 divided by 16 is definitely a number. Any Rainmen out there?
Definitely a number.
It's like it's 2%, right? 2.06. So you basically cannot rule out a 2% move today, right? So if we combine the day here, do this real quick. We combine the day. The open for the day was here, which was at 3604.75. So you figure 2%, a 2% move, 3604 times 2% would be 72 points. So 72 points above would be 3676, and then 3528, right? So a 2% move to the downside, which could cause that big spike in volatility and take us right to the 3528, which is, pretty much what we're looking for on that monthly is 3534. That's a dime a dozen there. I'm basically lines up perfectly with what we're kind of looking for. So, and you figure, it also goes along with the buy when people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. And that's the thing is like, just because I think that we're going down there doesn't necessarily make me a seller every single day. You know what I mean? Because we like we always say, we've got to trade the chart in front of us and trade the right side of the chart, not the left side of the chart. And so as much as I think that it is going to go down there eventually, it doesn't mean that it has to happen today, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to happen ever, right? Nobody knows until after the fact, and then that's when all the experts come out because they put out all this shit. I called it. I also called like 85 other things, but I called it. Like Jared when he told me the market was going to crash in September 2020, and now the market's going down. He's like, "Told you." It's like, yeah, you nailed it. Wink. Is Jared still in here? Oh yeah, he is.
I hope not. Poor guy. We love you, Jared.
Yeah, fuck that guy. You know what? I was right on Tesla. Okay, I was just about 9 months too early on my shorts.
Yeah, if you had had those 2023 puts instead of 2022 puts, you'd have been good to go.
Yeah.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah. And I've stuck to the same thesis, since the beginning of the year. Even in the very beginning of the year, and you could even look back at the videos, I thought we were going to get a drawdown into September. And I think that we do rally, especially with earnings coming up, that we do rally. I'm not sure how far, but I think we can get a sizable rally, and then October 28th is fucking doomsday, right? That's the day after like Apple and Amazon report earnings, and it's the last day for the Tesla trial, where Elon's gonna either buy Twitter or not buy Twitter, and if he doesn't buy Twitter, I think the market's gonna fucking crash. And I've been saying that since the beginning of the year. And if I'm wrong, then guess what? I'll just be wrong, Fucking part of being a trader. I don't understand why people just hate, they hate being wrong. It's like, well, can you imagine how boring it would be to always be right?
Hey, you got a 50-50 shot. Those are good odds. That's better than roulette.
Well, that's like I mean, economists. You know, people put
It is
faith.
super boring.
People put faith in people put faith in economists all the time, and it's like economists are basically meteorologists. You know what I mean? They're just basing everything on odds and probabilities of previous data. And so, you know, most of the time, I mean, weathermen or meteorologists typically are a lot more right than economists because there's a lot less moving pieces. But
Gonna try it here.
yeah, I don't see the ticket up there. Pretty good. It's tough to pick the breakout though. Yeah, and they're politically influenced for sure. It's a certainty.
He said, not yet.
Yeah, market's like, no. Seeing the breath, the nicey breath actually flipped to green there.
You just creeping up to that 1300 level.
They're just stacking stops on both sides so that when the 2 o'clock news hits, they can just run at 100 points in both directions.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. You know, I think that they can just get the liquidity that they need to make their next move. Because you figure they're probably running out of steam. You know, you can only deal so much, and once you run out of liquidity, you kind of have to just stop, and that could definitely be exactly the right thing. Yeah, it's trying to get up there. You can just see they're selling yesterday's this value area low here. All the volume that came in right here, the previous point of control, just keeps getting rejected on ETH. A break above should take us to 18 here right away, like right away. Just suck it right back up into there. Breath is flip positive here, both of them, just barely, but they are flipping positive. Tick is struggling a little bit though. The reason I think that, Clipper, is because it will show, you know, the former richest man in the world can't buy everything that he wants because these people are the richest people in the world, but it's not because they've got a fucking pile of cash sitting at their house that is the 100 billion or however fucking much he's worth. It's all theoretical, right? It's all based off of what we, well, not we, but like what they price the shares of, right? So like, I mean, on any day, these richest people in the world's net worth can change. I mean, look at fucking Mark Zuckerberg. He went from, I mean, it's I'll look it up. I was reading it on an article the other day. Zuckerberg has lost more than half his fortune, a staggering 76.8 billion since September 2021, dropping him from number 3 on the Forbes 400 list to the US wealthiest person to number 11. So like, oh, sad. Because he lost fucking $76 billion, but that's what I'm saying. It's theoretical money, right? This is all just based because he owns fucking Facebook stock. But if Facebook just ceased to exist, like if the internet stopped tomorrow, he'd be worth fucking nothing. Zero, right? Because that's the only way he makes money is off the internet. He doesn't have any products, right? It's not like Apple where it's like you have the iPhone, right? No one's gonna fucking want an iPhone if you don't have the internet on it, because then it just becomes fucking worthless too. But you see what I mean? Like that's why he's trying to get into the consumer space or like the product space. That's why they're trying to get into like the Meta Quest and the fucking multiverse or whatever the fuck that thing's called. What's that shit called? Not the multiverse. That's Avengers.
Metaverse.
Yeah, and so like it'll show us that Elon is, and yeah, Tesla has a product, but what are they gonna? No one's gonna be able to afford that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be the first thing to go, especially if we're in a fucking energy crisis. It's a genius idea though, because he has like subscription base, like off of a crazy. And the Teslas are dope as fuck. Like if you ever get a chance to drive one, like I mean, it is fun, but it just doesn't seem like it seems to me like everybody's seeing that, the great Elon can't buy whatever he wants, especially Twitter. Like what the fuck is Twitter? It's an app. Should just be able to buy it like with the money in his pocket. Right? But if he can't get the backing because the bank won't back him with the leverage, that's gonna scare the market, I think, and I think that's gonna be the straw.
Plus, he's paying about 20% over market for it anyway.
Well, that's the thing is I think that he won't agree to pay. I mean, if you look at Twitter, there's some CWR, and Twitter's trading at 50 today, but he's agreed to pay 56. I mean, it recently just had like a sky up to the upside, but he's he's still paying another $6 per share for it.
But what's Twitter normally trade at? It's just up right now, right?
It's been trading low, right? So like we look at Twitter on the daily, it recently just had like big move up, but it's been trading like around the 40s and lower for a while now.
Yeah, from 40s to 54 is a huge.
So this is where he said he was going to buy it. It popped up, and it basically did that island top reversal, and then you had this previous day where they talked about the case being back open, and Elon said he agrees to buy it, and it jumped another 10%. And he was probably in the perfect position to capitalize on that opportunity, I think.
I mean, even $6 times however many shares, that's a lot of money.
Oh, I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, the 1 minute is just chop, chop, chop.
The 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute.
Wants to make it the X.
He calls it X, the everything app. I have no clue what it is, but he wants to eventually make Twitter part of it.
Yeah, he's already tried that. He's already tried that, Clipper, and they came back with saying that the bots are less than 10% or whatever, which is bullshit. We all know that. It's like fucking bot filled. But yeah, I mean, he will. Yeah, I mean, he probably, if he doesn't buy it, that's probably the route he'll go. He'll be like, there's some new information that came out. You know, I mean, it's just mind blowing that he is able to escape the SEC as much as he does. You know, he for some reason just doesn't get in trouble for manipulating markets. Which I think, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough situation too, because you should freedom of speech, but also, he's listened to by such an important person. But I mean, look at fucking when Trump was president, every tweet Trump posted moved the market. You know, it was amazing. You just sit around all day and fucking have your alerts on. Fucking don't follow anyone except Trump, so your feed doesn't get all fucked up. And then, boom, Trump tweet, and you're like, I'm rich, or you're like, oof, I'm poor. And that was the president of the United States. So Elon said that he's going to reactivate Trump's Twitter if he gets if he buys Twitter, though.
I don't like Trump, but I miss his tweets.
Yeah, he was always. That's how he measured his successes off the market. Trump did. Sellers got stuck just now at the 3606. They can't break below it. They're going to be stuck down here. So E period still inside. We haven't seen a day like this in a long time. This is what they call a neutral extreme day, right? We got buying, sell, or buying tail, selling tail, and you know everything is just in a very, very tight range. I mean, we're inside A period. We have not done this. I mean, fuck, I don't even know how long it's been since we've stayed inside A period. I don't know. I don't know if we've done it even on those holiday mini days. Like I don't even know if we've done it. So very interesting. And of course it'll probably fucking break out as soon as I go to pick up the kids.
And that's how I feel about going to pee right now. I'm like, I'm not sitting here for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then go to the bathroom. This man.
Just warn us next time, TJ, because yesterday you didn't give us a heads up, and then all of a sudden. Sellers moving down. They're able to get below that 6. Now they're moving down here on this 4.5. See that offer just try to move down. Stepped up. Someone soaked it in. Big buy order came with the 3604 quarter, 100 lot. Off the open. The fuck? I think my data froze for a second right there. How often am I on Discord? Pretty often. Yeah, pretty often. I mean, like, it's always on, at least. Like, for the most part, my computer's on all day and my Discord's on all day. Only turn it off, really, when I'm gaming, so it doesn't, pull my computer down. Well, I know what we can do. Yeah, hit me up, Jason. Yeah, hit me up. I know what we can do. We can call it here. All right, we're getting this inside day. We always know what happens when the stream ends. We finally get the breakout, so I'm gonna go eat some lunch. And I'll jump in the Discord. I don't really have anything going on until 2 o'clock today. Do need to dig a trench, but weather. I'll do it this weekend. Go fuck. But yeah. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Like I said, I think today the best thing you can do is just exercise some patience. A break above this CD high can give us some moves. Like if we do break above this CD high, we should immediately trade to the 18, like right to that B high instantly. If we don't, just be careful for some fading from sellers.
You're
And
doing
then,
good, Brad. Keep talking about closing the stream. Just keep talking about it. Tell everybody you're shutting it down.
yeah, I mean, I'm in a long from 575. So, but yeah. So other than that, make sure that you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. If you don't have a trade plan, don't trade. And if this is your first time in the stream, go ahead and smash that like button. Comment down below that you want to get in the Discord with us so we can have you in the Zoom in the mornings and hear some of your thoughts. And yeah, the only thing that we ask is that you be positive and respectful. Everyone's on a different part of their journey into becoming a risk manager. So, don't try to put people down if you think you know more than them. No one really knows anything. We're all just guessing, estimating probabilities and odds. So yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day and I will catch you guys later.
Thanks, bro.